When you are done with your three effect files, Photoshop, Photoshop, Photoshop files, three of them, we want to make something that looks like this. It's a triptych basically. So let me just show you the example of how big this thing can be. So what we want to do is take the three photos and put them side by side by side and make it into one JPEG like this with your username on it like that. So let me show you how to do that. First, take the first photo that you have, and duplicate it. Command D. Now take that photo and just rename it your username. So just rename it your username. So in this case, like that. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open up the one with the username and the other two, not this one, but this one. Hold on your command key, and then command O to open it up in Photoshop. So all three of them should open up in Photoshop. Now you have all three files open. The first one, the second one, and then the third one. Let's start with the first one. Press Command 0 or Command plus until you see a smaller version of the image. So you're going to take anything that's not visible without the eyeball on. You can just delete that layer. Okay, and everything else, select all the layers, and you're going to merge them all. Merge these layers. Remember, this file is a copy of your original, so you have the original with all the layers anyway. And then you're going to double click on the file name or the layer name and call it 1, because this is the first one. And if you click on it, you notice that if you have a blue bounding box that's outside your actual image, we need to crop that away. So the way you do that is get your crop tool, which is this tool, and hopefully it fits all the way around your image like so. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, go ahead and change it so that it fits all the way around your image like that, without all this extra stuff, and then hit return. So now if you select your layer, you don't have that edge over here. Okay, now go to image size, and change the height to be 1000. Okay, and hit OK. So now it's either bigger or smaller depending upon what you did. So I would go just leave it that size, and then go back to your selection tool. Okay, now same thing with this guy. Let's do it with number 2. So now we're switching to number 2. Get rid of any original stuff that has no eyeball on. Select all your layers, right click and merge layers, which you don't see on screen there. Just merge the layers. There it is. And you're just going to call it 2. All right, now go to image size. Well, sorry, if you need to crop it, go ahead and crop it, but my blue bounding box is completely around my image, so it is correct. If you need to crop it, crop it. So now go to image size and change your height to 1000 again. Hit OK. And then right click and choose duplicate layer, and you want to duplicate it into the one with your username, and it's just going to be called number 2. Hit OK. There it is. Now here's the really important part. Close this file, but do not save it. Do not save it. So close it, but don't save number 2. Okay, so now let's go to number 3. So here's number 3. We're going to do the exact same thing. Delete the original. Select all of our layers. Right click and merge layers. And then the blue bounding box, make sure it's around the image but not outside the image. If it is outside the image, you crop it. Rename this number 3. And then you're going to go image size and change the height to 1000. Okay, and then right click, duplicate layer, put it inside the original, and hit OK. Here's the important part. Close it, but do not save it. Close this, but do not save. So now you're back to number 1, and you have 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we have all these images, number 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to put them into a triptych side by side by side, or you can put it vertically if you want, but it makes sense to be side by side by side. So we're going to go to image, canvas size, and we're going to change this to percent and change the width to 400% and change it from the left side and hit OK. All right, number 3. Take number 3, and it should be aligned to the right side, all the way to the right. Number 2, we should align it to the center, approximately. So now I'm gonna hit Command plus a couple times, and now we're gonna align them in such a way that the space here and the space here is equal. Okay, so I'm gonna start with number 1. Number 1, this guy, just drag it over, hold on my shift key and drag it over so it goes horizontally perfectly across, and I'm going to figure out how much space I want between the photos. Okay, so something like, I'm looking at the checkered grid here, maybe 2 rows or so. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Hold on my shift key and drag it over, approximately the same, and notice that the guides tell me my spacing is the same. So if I go Command 0, you'll see that there's space on the sides here and probably on the right also. So what we want to do is get rid of those. So we're going to go Image, Trim, and you want to trim the transparent pixels away from the top, bottom, left, and right. Hit OK. So there you go. And if you press Command minus, you should see only the transparent in the middle here. So now we don't want that to be transparent, we want it to be black. So the way we do that is we create a new layer, stick it on the very, very bottom here, and we're going to choose this half circle guy, choose it, and you don't see it, but choose the first one, which is solid color, and choose black. Just select black. And there it is. So you have black between the photos. Now we need to export this out as a JPEG. And so we go File, Export, Export As. You want to make sure you choose JPEG up here. And the important number is that the height is 1000. The width will be different depending upon your photos. But the height is 1000. Hit Export. Navigate to where you want it to be, where it should be. And it should just be your username.jpg, like that. Okay, and just save it there. So it's exporting it out. And then take your PSD file. Remember, this is a copy of your original, so you can save it also. Command S or Control S on a PC. And then you can close it. You can see then that there it is. There's the PSD, and here's the JPEG. Nice and big. It's way bigger than the screen. So there it is. Good to go.